Hello, it's my rankings of all UK Eurovision entries, places 42 to 38. Welcome to Matt Loves Eurovision. Please do click on the subscribe button, also that notification bell, and as always, please do like, share and comment below. So we are approaching the sort of top 2/3 of my countdown, and in this little batch we'll be breaking into the top 40. But we start off with number 42, and that is 1989's live report, Why Do I Always Get It Wrong?
My momentary weakness, but it feels so strong. Why do I always get it wrong?
So the song title these days could possibly apply to how the UK has been doing in Eurovision in the last sort of 10-15 years or so, but this was the 1989 entry for the UK. It was almost called No More Sad Songs. It's a sort of a pop, well I suppose a rock ballad, it's quite a slow rock ballad. And it did remarkably well. It was a runner-up, and in fact this is the first runner-up in my ranking, so it's my lowest ranked runner-up. And I know the lead singer of Live Report always felt somewhat bitter that he felt they lost out to a inferior song, which was Yugoslavia's Rock Me. But that said, this is, as you can tell, my least favourite of our many runners-up. And indeed, it's the UK runner-up that has the lowest chart entry in the UK charts. It only reached number 73. So maybe it's a fairly good reflection of where it was. At 41, it's 2016, Joe and Jake, You're Not Alone.
You're not alone. We're in this together. All that you want is riding forever, and they don't need to know. And they don't need to know.
2016 saw the return of the UK doing a national final, and I missed it unfortunately because I was on a flight to Australia going via Singapore, so I had to wait quite a lot of hours before I found out who had won. But I liked, this was a good upbeat poppy number. Joe and Jake, or was it Joe Wilford and Jake Shakeshaft, were on The Voice together, separately, but then after The Voice kind of joined up, so performing together. And they are, as many of the UK entries are in these recent years, absolutely lovely, really good ambassadors, lots of fun. The song itself, I suppose it was a bit disappointing. It only came 24th. Did better with the juries than it did with the televote, because that was the first year that's been the first year they separated the jury and the televote out. But that said, I think they don't regret their time at Eurovision. I know when we had Eurovision again not so long ago, they were tweeting away, and I even got a reply from, I think, Jake as well. So it's good that they enjoyed their time there. They would happily relive it again. So, which is always good to see, even though perhaps it wasn't sort of the result we would have wanted. Finally, my number 40 is 2014 Molly and Children of the Universe.
Walk along, we're children of the universe, don't you know? Just dancing on the edge of time, it's us to own.
The 2014 entry was notable because it was a break from what the BBC had done in the last couple of years, which was taking on the more, well, shall we say, established acts of Engelbert Humperdinck and Bonnie Tyler. They went the opposite way, and they looked to BBC Introducing, which is kind of their platform and their sort of programme to searching for kind of unsigned or unknown new artists. Really good thing, I think, to go that route, although they only did it this one year. And Molly was selected, lovely lady I got to meet briefly when I was taking part in the UK's postcard filming that year. There was a lot of hype around Children of the Universe. It's kind of very much a kind of indie pop style, so a bit different from the previous years. And it's good. Co-written and produced by Anders Hansen, Swedish songwriter who's done a lot for Melfest and actually co-wrote Melina Philipson's It Hurts from a few years ago. It didn't do quite as well as the hype. Still performed better than most entries of the UK in the last 10 years, finishing 17th. I've got a feeling it may be that the live performance, or the live version of the song seemed to be a bit slower and deeper than the original one. Maybe that was partly it. But that said, it's definitely one of the better songs of recent years. 39, it's 1994, Francis Ruffel, Lonely Symphony, We Will Be Free.
We can be in harmony, you and me, a chorus in your lonely symphony. Never fall, we'll never fall, and we will be free.
So Francis Ruffell's song is, perhaps I could call it art pop. It's certainly slightly different from what you might expect from Eurovision in the mid-1990s. It's quite classy, it's quite subtle, definitely kind of got an arty indie pop feel. Was a very popular entry at the time. I think there were high expectations for it. And it finished 10th, which is not as high as perhaps some people thought it would do. Although, as I always keep on saying these days, that would be a really good result. Francis Ruffel actually has had a rich career outside of Eurovision. She's was and still is a big, done a lot of stuff in musical theatre. She won a Tony Award in the 1980s. For a performance in Les Mis. She actually also had a small part in the film version of Les Mis as well, but she's been, very heavily involved in the musical theatre scene. She's the daughter of Sylvia Young, who founded the famous theatre school, and her daughter is a singer, a pop singer as well, Eliza Doolittle. So there's a lot of pedigree in there, a musical pedigree outside of Eurovision. And 38, it's 1984, Belle and the Devotions, Love Games. This has always intrigued me, this entry from the UK. It's the act themselves, the three girls, they dress very much in that kind of early to mid 1980s style, very Madonna influenced. Lots of neon highlights, they wear neon green, very 80s look. Yet the song they sing is basically very similar to a Supremes song, or it feels very like Motown Supremes, which is why I like it. I love the Supremes. So it's quite an interesting mix of the two. And they, at the time, they got quite shockingly some booing. And this was when Eurovision audiences were generally dressed up in kind of evening dresses and dinner jackets and all sorts. I'm never quite sure exactly what the reason was. It was possibly because at the time there had been another incident to do with English football hooliganism, which was unfortunately a major export in the 1980s. But also there was some rumours that there was unhappiness that the singers that you see on screen, the three singers, that at least two of them don't even actually sing, and that a lot of the performance is delivered by the other three backing singers who are on the stage but unseen. That's all completely in the Eurovision rules, of course, and certainly wouldn't be the first time that had happened. So, yeah, I'm not sure which one is which, or maybe it's the combination of the two. Anyway, they came 7th, which would again be considered a good result. It was one of the weaker results for the UK at the time, but it's a good, catchy song, and as I say, if you like No Time, you'll like this one. And that's this batch done. We'll be back very soon with another 5. Join me then.